welcome to Chapter 4, the marketing environment. Now this is the first video for Chapter 4, and it's one of the chapters that we weren't able to cover at this point in class yet, but we're looking at trying to cover some of this information on Friday. So remember, if you're able to, on Friday, to show up on the 5th between 7:15 and 7:30 for an extra session for the Makeup Snow Day, we'll be covering chapters 3 and 4. So let's get through the start here of chapter 4. Chapter 4 is talking all about the marketing environment. As always, you have the learning outcomes. Please make sure, again, that you read through them and are able to do what they say, being able to, whether it's identify something, explain something, discuss certain things. Those are good goals to be able to set and be able to meet. All right, now right off the bat here, they're talking about a target market. And just remember that larger scale, a market is a group of people, a very, very large group of people, by the way, who are willing and able to buy your product. This is very large, very broad, very generic group of people. In correlation to that, a target market is a much more specific group of people. It is the group of people in which you try to create, implement, and maintain your marketing mix towards them. You want it to be more narrow, more specific, more defined, so you're not dealing with so many people. It'll be a lot easier for you to deal with the product, to deal with the target market itself, rather than the hundreds of millions, if not billions of people potentially in the market. You'll have a much more defined group of people. All right, so you can see target markets are very, very important to the marketing mix, to the success of the company. It's very important also for understanding who is buying your product and who you're trying to gear your product towards. The factors within the external environment that are important to marketing managers are social, demographic, economic, technological, political and legal, that's one together, political and legal, and competitive. Now you have to first understand how customers buy, where they buy, what they buy, when do they buy it, all these kind of important qualities about the customer. You also have to understand what drives consumer decisions. You have to identify the most valuable customers and understand their needs and wants. And yeah, on top of all of that, you also have to understand your competition. Who else is selling products that are like yours? What are their prices? What are their quality? Why would customers buy theirs over yours? And all of that. All right, so you need to understand the external environment. It's very, very important and actually critical to be able to do that. Okay, talking about social factors. 3 main social factors: attitudes, values, and lifestyles. With this, you just need to understand that social change is possibly one of the most difficult external variables for marketing managers to forecast. It's very, very tough. It's hard for them to not only forecast it accurately, but also to have an influence over it or integrate it into marketing plans. Okay, these social factors are very, very tough to change and have any kind of influence over whatsoever. The main reason is because these social factors, these attitudes, values, and lifestyles, influence the products that people buy. They will influence how much they're willing to pay. They can have an influence over how effective your promotions are, whether they be sales promotions, those are your incentives to buy a product, or your advertising potentially. These social factors could have influence over where you buy it, when you buy it, expectations that people have on you. So just understand the social factors are very, very difficult for the marketing managers or the marketing team to be able to try to influence other people. All right, now keep in mind, a value, when we're talking about American values here, a value is a strongly held and enduring belief. That's the way the book refers to that. A strongly held and enduring belief. There are considered to be 4 basic values, American values, that you can see on the slide here. And the 4 basic values that are shown influence the attitudes and lifestyles during the first 200 plus years of the United States and its existence. All right, so self-sufficiency is every person should stand on their own 2 feet. You are responsible for you. You don't have to worry about being responsible for somebody else. You don't have to worry about somebody else being responsible for you. It's especially in a college class, you have to understand that you have deadlines. You have to get the work done. It's not mom or dad's responsibility. It's not my responsibility. But self-sufficiency is that you are able to do everything on your own. Upward mobility is next. And what this is getting at is just the idea that success comes with getting educated, working hard, following the rules, not doing anything stupid that's going to get you into trouble or to get you recognized for the wrong reasons. Third one is work ethic. Work ethic is, if you have a good work ethic, you're a hard worker. You're dedicated. You are considered, the book puts it, moral and right. You're a good person, okay? Conformity. No one should expect to be treated differently than anybody else. Right? No one should expect to be treated differently than anybody else. Values themselves in general are formed usually through interaction with family, friends, people who are considered influencers. That could be role models. It could be teachers and counselors, anything like that. Anybody who has any kind of influence. Coaches, potentially, as well. These 4 things are, again, very important to marketers so that they can understand the values behind purchasing decisions. The influence of values on buying habits. So these characteristics of product quality are ranked. So you have to understand highest to lowest. Top is the most important compared to the bottom being the least important. So we got reliability, durability, easy maintenance, ease of use, trusted brand name, and then the least important is low price. Okay, price does have a factor, but in the grand scheme of things, it is the bottom of this list. All right, as we said before, values do influence our buying habits. Consumers, as you can see here, demand high quality goods and services. High quality ones that even save energy, save time. The products have to be durable. They aren't to break down after a short amount of time. They need to be reliable and durable. So you just need to see that if this is what customers are asking for and demanding, in essence, you need to make sure that you are providing them with a product, a good or a service that meets these characteristics. All right, component lifestyles. A lifestyle is just a mode of living. People are choosing products and services that meet so many different needs and wants and interests, rather than just conforming to the traditional stereotypes that are placed on people continuously. The fact that there are so many different unique lifestyles for so many different consumers, it might require a company, and especially a marketing department, to come up with a different marketing mix for all of these different component lifestyles. It just adds a little bit more work, a little bit more research and understanding to be able to meet that need. Social media. Social media has man, has been the biggest game changer over the last maybe 10 years in regards to communicating with the customers, current and potential customers. Not only companies reaching out to consumers, but people talking amongst themselves, sharing things, positives and negatives with companies or products. The fact that it's real time and there's no delay, you don't have to wait for it. It is drastically changing how companies handle themselves, how they communicate, how they market their products and advertise. And as you can see on the slide at the bottom, the fact that teenagers and young adults are more likely to view social networks as a valuable source of information. So if you're looking at a target market that includes young adults and teenagers, you're not only going to want to just use social media, but you're going to want to know what specific social media platforms are being used by them and being effective and efficient in communication. How firms use social media, you'll be able to just read through this, but an interesting point that I'd like to just make to you, a statistic here, is, and I believe this might have come from the book, I don't remember for sure, but the total number of users on Facebook, if Facebook were considered a country based upon population, the number of users that they have, Facebook would actually be the world's third largest country behind only China and India. So there's a huge market there. Now, not everybody is on Facebook anymore, and people have accounts that don't check them and all of that. I understand that. But there is just a huge population there at a relatively inexpensive cost for advertising and communicating, that it's something that needs to be at least considered and looked into with different companies. All right, demographics. Demographics are just one way to be able to segment a market, to break it down into a smaller group. Demographic characteristics are things such as age, gender, marital status, family size. They do not include like geographic location, things like that. That's a separate factor. Okay, a separate factor there. Now, the next couple slides are going to be pieces of information that marketers are using to break markets down into. So I'm going to go through these relatively quickly because you'll be able to read the statistics and information on the slides themselves. But the first one is based upon age, not like when you're born. Some of these will be when you're born, but this is just based upon age. Okay, the tweens, and then the second one is going to be the teens. All right, so these, you can see the difference between the tweens and the teens. You're familiar with these age groups, obviously. But as you can see the population size. You can find out about annual income, talking about social networking, things like that for tweens and teens. Now, the next one, though, are millennials. Now, this is no longer just age. This is based upon birth date. Okay, what year were you born? This is between 79 and 94. Right? This is the generation that now has a larger population than the baby boomers, which was a huge population bubble. Notice the two stages, though, in the millennials. All right, those born in 1994 are just entering young adulthood, still usually single, living on their own, things like that. Those born closer to the 79 have not only established careers, but also families, married, kids. They're approaching 40 years of age even. So you have to understand that there's a wide range of ages here and a wide range of needs and wants. Right, Generation X, born between 65 and 78. Okay, a little bit older population that you can read a little bit of information about them. And then lastly are the baby boomers, 46 and 64. This was the first initial huge population bubble in the United States. All right, I'm going to stop the first video at this point, and then I'll pick up on the next slide with video number 2.